Isn't it funny that no matter how much we know, we continue to use tomorrow as an excuse? No matter how many times we understand what might happen, no, what will happen. No matter how many times that we've actually felt that feeling of regret, no matter how many posts online we see when they talk about the people who ran out of tomorrows, we continue to use it as an excuse. We continue to say, I'll do it tomorrow. And then when tomorrow comes around, it still remains tomorrow. The day that doesn't exist, this mystical day that once it comes around, everything is going to change. Everything's going to click. Tomorrow always ends up becoming today. Tomorrow is perpetually out of reach, no matter whatever it is we do. And today is actually the tomorrow that you were talking about beforehand. But are you still talking about tomorrow? What if today was your last day? Would the day be worthy of the feeling of delight? Or would the day be worthy of the feeling of regret? The coolest part about all of this is we get to decide. There's no one who's standing in our way telling us we can't take action now. There's nobody telling us that we have to just take some incredibly large step as our first step. There's nobody holding us back besides the person in the mirror. Like, we don't have to, just because we haven't started, doesn't mean when we do start, we have to jump all the way to the top of the mountain. Why do we think that we have to make such massive progress just on the first go around? And because we think of this, it makes it even harder to take action. Sometimes we need to hear something 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times before it actually sticks. But the giant leaps don't matter. They're not the important part. The important part are the tiny steps, the tiny actions that you take today that are going to lead to the giant leaps. You have to understand that the giant leaps are cool and all, but they're harder to sustain. If all you went for was giant leaps, that day comes around when your discipline is really tested. You don't make that giant leap. Instead, you decide not to take a little step because it feels so insignificant, because it doesn't seem to matter, since if you're not taking big steps, big leaps, you're not actually making any real progress. But that's a lie. It's a lie. I like to ask, to me and to you, what is that one thing that you know you should do? That one thing that you actually want to do, but you're not doing because for some reason you're waiting for tomorrow to give you the permission to do it today. What is that one thing? I imagine that one thing is actually going to be the very thing that makes the largest impact, as opposed to all the other things that we do. Wouldn't it be worth it? Why not get rid of that looming feeling of, man, I still haven't done this thing. Man, I'm still in this same position, still procrastinating. All we're doing is adding to the anxiety, adding to the regret. All we're doing is fueling these negative feelings that are only going to make things harder in the long run. So why don't we just alleviate these weights off of our shoulders by just starting today, by just acting today? Why do we live so why do we live so bought into the idea that we just have an infinite number of tomorrows? That just like this video with Myron Golden, he said, we live like we're going to live to 922. That may be nice, but it's not going to happen. A lot of us won't even make it to 100 or 90 or 80. There's really no telling when things are going to go down where we won't open our eyes and have the luxury of laying our eyes upon today. So hopefully this convicts you enough to actually start moving today, to actually do something. You may have to sacrifice a little sleep like I'm doing right now, but it's worth it. Why not go to sleep feeling accomplished with a little bit of less sleep than going to sleep knowing that you could have acted, but for some reason you just didn't because it became a habit. Not taking action can become a habit if you didn't know that. But that's a topic for another video. And before I make this too long, I want to thank you for getting to this point in the video. If you watched this far, shout out to you. You're a real one. And feel free to like, comment, do the subscribe stuff. It doesn't really make any difference if you do or not. But if you do, I greatly appreciate you. So I'll see you in the next video. And if I don't, happy conquering. If I do, happy conquering. Adios for now.